you enjoyed. And, well, next I'll be getting into the weapons tier list. You might already have a little glimpse of what I'm going to decide. But, well, you'll have to see. So, weapons tier list in Valheim. I am going to do two types of tier lists. I'm going to do a standard vacuum tier list, where we take the raw power of each weapon as if no other weapons existed, and just the complements to these weapons. Say, shields, movement, the fact that you can roll and dodge and things and run and potions exist and all of that. I'm going to take just that into account, but the fact that other weapons exist and might make that weapon irrelevant doesn't mean I'm going to rank it artificially lower until I do the second tier list, which is a relative tier list, which will take into account the weapons that make other weapons irrelevant. I'm only going to include the top tier or unique and top tier weapons of the game. So I will be including Rostner and Porcupine, even though they are two different tiered weapons. I will include Silver Sword and Black Metal Sword, even though there are two different tiered weapons, because the Frostner and the Silver Sword have unique effects. I will not, however, be including things like the Bronze Mace and like an Iron Sword or an Iron Mace. Those, of course, will be way lower in the tier list. I will be only talking about top-notch weapons of each unique category, and, well, not the ooze bombs, because I don't think we'll be going much into that direction design-wise in the future of Valheim. So, here are the weapons that I will be talking about. The maces are the Frostner and the Porcupine. The axes are the Black Metal Axe and the Battle Axe. Swords, Silver Sword, Black Metal Sword. Spears, Fang Spear and Abyssal Harpoon. Mauls are the Iron Sledge. Polearm, just the Black Metal Gear. Bows, Draggerfang. Knives, Black Metal Knife. And I will be including the other things like I mentioned prior. So, tier list. Let's see. Pull up another document. I'll do the standard type of tier list, so we'll go S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. There we are. I will be assuming that you have the knowledge of Valheim weapon mechanics that I've said previously. And I will go over from this list here onto the tier list here. So, start off with the best weapon in the game. By far and away. I think it deserves a tier on its own. I think this is the only S tier weapon in the game. It's just insane. And that's the Draggerfang. The ability to send frost arrows from a distance. The ability to fling double dot bows with poison damage stacked on top of fire arrows. Or send double dot bows. Send double dot arrows for crazy damage. To sneak attack from insane distances away. To clear Deskitos from a distance. To clear trolls from a distance. To clear and draw out full fulling camps from a distance if you wanted to. You know, get rid of shamans in one hit. Pull berserkers, hide, and then let them run back into the camp. Rinse and repeat. Clear out the entire camp. Freeze enemies before they even get to you and kill them without breaking a sweat. Click and click and click, and that's it. The Draggerfang is obscenely powerful. And honestly, I don't think frost arrows should exist. I really don't. I think it should just be fire poison and maybe lightning arrows in the future. I think being able to have this slowdown effect from a distance and just constantly keep this effect on is a little obscene. And it just completely shreds interaction. You know? The point of having bows at all in a game with all of these types of melee weapons is to have enemies that are quick enough, that are dangerous enough to come up on you either in a group or otherwise and be a threat, to be able to have to switch out to a melee weapon to keep the balance there. Frost arrows totally eradicate that design. And I really do think that they need to be nerfed. Frost needs to be less time. It needs to be shorter so that it could combo maybe with a friend in melee, or to buy you a second to get a little bit of distance, but it shouldn't be as amazing as it is at the moment. And this is why the Draggerfang is S tier by far. It really is because of frost arrows. Frost arrows are crazy good. A tier. Here we have the pinnacle of the well-balanced weapons. Cream of the crop of the balanced weapons. Now, if you know me, you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to put at the top of A tier. My favorite weapon. The most mechanically balanced weapon. I just raved about it when talking about Valheim weapon mechanics. Rostner. Oh. Best melee weapon in the game, bar none. Bar none. Don't talk to me about the porcupine. Don't talk to me about the black metal axe. Rostner is obscene. If you've seen and heard me talk about the mechanics, then you know why. Slowdown. Comboing into itself. Comboing into other people. Maybe with Rostners. Comboing into another good weapon. Rostner is obscene. Rostner, regular hit, can combo into running 180 degrees around an enemy, like a fulling, and hitting it with a charged special with the Rostner, which can then combo into the same thing, rinse and repeat until the enemy is dead. That's how good it is. Rostner can also combo one hit into one hit into one hit until the enemy is dead. Rostner can also combo into one hit into the river, or another body of water, rinse and repeat while the enemy tries to swim to you, all while getting bonus damage because the enemy is wet, and freezing damage gets a bonus while the enemy is wet. Insane damage per stamina. The best damage per stamina from a melee weapon. Just incredible. The fact that you can hit an enemy and retreat and get your stamina back if you want to is insane. And this weapon has offense, defense, strategy, everything. Such a beautifully designed weapon. Wonderful. And thankfully the community recognizes this. Community does know the Rostner is beautiful, beautiful weapon. I wish ultimate weapons from every video game ever were as well designed as the Rostner is. Iron Gate did an incredible job designing this weapon. And I think in the future when we get like lightning weapons, maybe hopefully we get like a lightning sword or something, that it's going to have a unique effect like Frost, and it's going to be just as cool, if not cooler, and objectively well designed. Maybe even better than the Rostner. Oh, I can't wait to see what they'll add in the future. Rostner is lovely. Right underneath Rostner, in A tier, I would have the Black Metal Acre. Black Metal Acre gear, it's got that huge damage, but more importantly, it has that debilitating sweep that can combo for big damage with itself or with other weapons. Most likely itself, but if you have other people, yeah, Black Metal Acre gear is even better. Same with the Rostner, but Black Metal Acre gear, being able to crowd control like any other Acre gear, fantastic. You can totally casually decimate Bowling Berserker with that middle mouse special. Stagger it, hit it. Stagger it, hit it. You can decimate a crowd of Fullings, unless they're all spear throwers, with the Acre gear. The Acre gear is, of course, stamina intensive. You have to be careful, but if you're using your abilities and movement well, you're using Tasty Mead's good rested buff well, Black Metal Acre gear is incredible. And that's why I put it in the bottom of A tier. Now we're going to B tier. And this weapon is going to be quite surprising, but it functions quite the same as Black Metal Acre gear. And that is the Battle Axe. Yeah. Bet you didn't think you see that in B tier. Above every sword, above the Porcupine, above the Black Metal Axe, above the Black Metal Knife. But yeah. The Battle Axe, with its middle mouse thrust debilitation, is even more of a proactive threat against single target enemies than the Black Metal Acre. It has a better time staggering enemies, single enemies, than the Black Metal Acre. Not to mention you can weapon swap into a Rostner or a high damage weapon, like even higher than a Rostner, and get a hit on even faster than the Black Metal Acre. So you can, 1, thrust with Black Metal Axe, and then 2, combo with another weapon. Just hit, switch, hit. Because of this combo ability and the speed of it, it goes in B tier. Battle Axe is super, super underrated. Yeah, just these debilitations, These debilitating style weapons, nothing like them. And nothing else like them in this game. Best. They're the best by bar none. C tier. Yes, I'm jumping down to C tier. No more in B tier. C tier, we have Black Metal Knife. Black Metal Knife is incredible because of the low stamina cost, low movement speed, in fact, no movement speed reduction. Got that 10 times sneak modifier. You can sneak up, instant kill some falling berserkers, instant kill trolls, instant kill a 1-star troll. I've done it. You can instant kill shamans with a regular attack, falling shamans. Instant kill regular fallings with a regular attack. Instant kill some starred fallings with a special attack. From sneak. That is how good that is. But even so, these other weapons are going to do the same thing. Except for those big beefy guys. Like the berserker. Like the trolls. This is the only weapon that will one-hit kill those. At super reliably. The only one. Even so, you can have an extremely easy time clearing out a camp without this. You could go at gear Rostner or Draggerfang at gear, Draggerfang Rostner, or just Draggerfang, and clear out a camp without much issue. Keep your distance when you need to. Use the Fang. Use Frost Arrows. One-shot enemies, you could one-shot them with Needle Arrows. One-shot them with Obsidian Arrows. From way downtown. No problem. Because of that, the knife's effectiveness is super niche. And that's why it's in C tier. Other weapon in C tier. Black Metal Sword. Black Metal Sword is pure damage. That's what swords are. Damage per stamina to the maximum. Incredible. It's got that combo ability that most maces, except for the Frostner, does not have. Got that thrust after a parry for an incredible damage. You can kill most fallings or falling shamans from sneak with the one hit from the sword very easily. Definitely with the thrust sneak attack. Black Metal Sword, if other people have debilitated enemies or you've debilitated an enemy with the battle axe, it's really good to get that combo off and secure the kill. Because of this, Black Metal Sword has any relevance at all. Because of these, Black Metal Sword is here and not down in D tier. Black Metal Sword only good with debilitations. Otherwise, if there were no debilitating weapons, the Black Metal Sword would be second best weapon in the game. Like, knife would still have that incredible utility that sneak utility over it. But the sword would be the main weapon for getting shit done. However, these debilitating weapons do exist, so the black metal sword goes down here. D tier, D tier. Oh man, these are just sad weapons in general. Whoa, just depressing. Super depressing. Porcupine. It's a worse black metal sword. It's the same damage numbers as the sword, but with worse combo ability because of the knockback. It is a worse black metal sword. So it goes in D tier. Black metal sword was already meh and usable only in certain situations. Over, you know, it's like it's just damage for stamina and combo ability. Porcupine is damage per stamina, but worse. Less combo ability. So it goes in D tier. In fact, I would actually put above the Porcupine the Silver Sword. Because at least the Silver Sword has amazing damage over time versus undead enemies like Bone Mass and Yagluth. At least the Silver Sword can shred through Draugr and multi-star Draugr Elite, and final boss Yagluth. Porcupine is just depressingly bad. I had somebody try to tell me in the best weapons comment section that the Porcupine was the top weapon. Porcupine is nowhere near the top weapon. Porcupine is sad weapon. Below the Porcupine, Iron Sledge. At the bottom, almost the bottom of the barrel. The Iron Sledge, it has its moments. But it's too slow. The combo ability is not there. It doesn't have enough damage to deal with horde of threats coming at you. The movement speed reduction is way too heavy. It is just as much movement speed reduction as the Battle Axe, with worse utility. And enemies are just too fast for it. You're going to get caught in no man's land, and enemies are going to be here, there, or wherever, or even in the air, and you can't do shit about it. Iron Sledge is just sad. And I hope they buff the speed on it, if anything. I really hope they do upgrade the Sledge. Or Sledge type weapons. It is just laughably bad right now. The bottom, the absolute bottom, we're getting to now. Black Metal Axe. It does not have the utility of the Iron Sledge. You can chop down trees with it, and in that case, it's a good tool. That's all it is a tool. The startup on the axe, slow. Slower than any of the other in the Trinity, sword, mace, axe. Combo ability. It's there. But the damage per stamina is weak. It does not have the utility of the other weapons. If we had a non-vacuum tier list, the black metal axe, porcupine, would go up. It would go up to like A tier. The battle axe and all this would sink down. Because you can destroy and deal with all these enemies with pure damage. But it's not the best way of dealing with it. Because we have this group, because we have the game as it is with all of its weapons in a group, black metal axe, there's no reason to play with this weapon. No reason solo, at least. If you're in a party of like 4, you can play this building trapper type person, where your main thing is you build outposts and you dig traps for enemies to be in. You build up traps to lure enemies, and then because you're building and chopping down trees and everything, your axe skill is going to be pretty high. So you go axes, and then you are battle axe. So you have like a range character, your club shield character with Rostner. You have your at-gear guy, and then you have the trapper, who has the battle axe to support enemies. But if the trapper is ever by himself and needs a quick weapon to deal damage, then you'll use the black metal axe. You see how rare that is for black metal axe to be relevant at all? You need to be in a party of 4 or more. That's rare. For that to be useful, that is rare. And because of all this, black metal axe, low. I forgot. I've been avoiding this category because the main series of them are the worst designed weapons in this game. But I forgot to mention the Abyssal Harpoon, also in the Trapper section. Abyssal Harpoon. Technically, I would put the Abyssal Harpoon. You guys are gonna laugh. The Abyssal Harpoon goes in B tier. The Abyssal Harpoon does no damage. Effectively. Does 3 or 9, a ridiculously low amount of damage. But because of the way that you can control enemies and pull them, you can pull them into preset pits with traps and default kill them. They will die. Instant kill them into traps. It takes a while. The damage per stamina is very weak. The time, the effectiveness per time is very weak. But the control that it offers on the battlefield is amazing. The control that the Abyssal Harpoon gives is really good. Especially if you're in a multiplayer, at least 2 players. The Abyssal Harpoon becomes good. Just because of the control. Like, oh, you want you have somebody who has a Frostner and they want to get some hits on this enemy. Okay. I'll sit back, I'll Abyssal Harpoon, pull the enemy this way. And then you'll be able to really outspace the enemy and very casually walk up and smack it with Frostner, hit it with a Frost Arrow, really stun it with an Atgear or the Battle Axe, and then all of the combos can ensue from there. You can let go of the line, change to a different weapon, and go crazy. Because the Abyssal Harpoon allows for combos to get started, and the combos can lead to insane damage very quickly, very efficient per stamina, the Abyssal Harpoon goes in B2. That only leaves the last weapon. Fang Spear. Oh boy. Fang Spear. Bottom of the barrel. Bottom of the barrel. In fact, Spear tier. Fang Spear. Fang Spear and all spears that aren't the Abyssal Harpoon are garbage. Trash. There is no forward momentum with the spear. None. When you attack with it. There is a little bit with the throw special. But with the throw special, you can lose your spear. You can just lose track of it, and it's gone. Terrible. Also, the damage is just okay. The damage per stamina is weaker than a black metal sword by far. A spear is fast, but it takes up so much stamina. And because it doesn't have any forward momentum, if you trade hits with an enemy, which you will do because the range on the spear, because of the grip, is minimal, you will be pushed back. If you don't get that spacing absolutely precise, a neck can push you back with its attack, and even if you hit a second late, you'll miss the neck. It's a super linear hitbox, super small hitbox, and enemies will just constantly walk around you, hit you, and you won't be able to hit them back, and you'll lose the spear if you throw it and you don't know what you're doing. Damage per stamina is trash. Everything about spears, except for the aesthetic and the name and the cool materials required to make the Ancient Bark Spear, which isn't even on this list because the Fang Spear is just better in every way, is nonsense. Everything but that is nonsense. The Ancient Bark Spear should be better than it is because the name is cool, the materials are cool, it looks cool, everything about it's cool. But mechanically, it's garbage. You hang that shit up on your wall in your base, and that's the best use for it. And that's a shame. And, you know, I said I don't know what they would do to update weapons. Fix the spears. Fix the spears. Buff Porcupine. Buff the sledges. Nerf frost arrows. That's it. That's it. That's all you gotta do. But fix the spears. Good God. They need to be fixed. Like, the main reason to get a spear is you're lazy. You're lazy. You don't want to grind up that many materials will the spears cost less materials? Significantly less materials. Oh, that's amazing. But players with less time on their hands are lazy players. Not saying they're the same, but they could be. They're not usually going to get particularly amazing at the mechanics in combat. Not usually. So what happens when somebody's not that good with the spear? And they throw the spear, and it goes haywire, and they can't find the spear. Now they have to grind up all those materials again. So the benefit of them costing less materials is negated. Which means these players with less time on their hands, or lazy players, what do? Probably quit the game. Super casual players going spear. If they lose their spear, they're probably going to quit the game. Because they don't have the time, they're not feeling like recharging up, going out and spending all that time making the spear again. Upgrading it to max. That's not good design. That's bad design. Just from a game designer's perspective, for selling games, for trying to have people have positive experience in this community, that's not good design, guys. That's every good thing about the Rostner is just awful in the spears. Like everything good that I said about the Rostner and all the design compliments, the reverse applies for the spears. Terrible design, and they need to be fixed. And I really hope that they do get fixed in Hearth and Home. Really do. Well, this is the tier list. S tier Draggerfang because of the frost arrows. A tier Rostner, black metal axe gear. B tier is the battle axe and the abyssal harpoon. C tier is a black metal knife and a black metal sword. D tier is silver sword, porcupine, iron sledge, black metal axe, and the spear tier is fang spear. If I were to make a non-relative and a vacuum tier list, of course things like silver sword, porcupine, black metal axe, fang spear would move up. And then stun weapons would move down, like battle axe and abyssal harpoon. But the top would still stay the top. And honestly, even in a solo game, tier list is still accurate. Tier list is still top of the notch. So I hope you enjoyed this tier list. And next, I will be reacting to people's tier lists online. Let's see what these people who play video games for a living, like I strive to do, let's see